Hello, my name is Samantha. My pronouns are she, her, and this is my 2024 cross stitch finishes and WIP parade. To start, I have some notes and numbers for you. So, I started 2024 with 16 WIPs. I then started 34 new projects, and I finished 27 projects. So, I'm finishing 2024 with 23 WIPs. Now, of those 23, 7 are very close to a finish, and another 4 will be close to a finish with not terribly too much work left to go in them. So of the 23, 11 have a finish in sight. So I feel good about the 23 number, but a little bit more about that at the very end when I talk a little bit about plans for 2025. So a few more notes before we dive into the projects. They are all stitched on Aida. I have 14, 16, 18, and 20 count, but they're all Aida. They're all stitched with DMC. I have regular DMC, Etoile, and DMC variations, but they're all DMC. There are, based on how I counted, there were 50 projects total that I have as WIPs or finishes from this year. But there's a small handful, 4, maybe 5, that I'm not going to show today because either I didn't work on it this year or it's a gift and I'm choosing not to show it yet because it hasn't been gifted yet. So other than those small few, everything you're going to see today is everything that I worked on this year. So let's get started. Okay, so the first one I'm going to show today, I've got my notes here, so I may be glancing at a few things. All right, first one is from 2020. It is Advent Animals by Brooks Books. Oh, also, if there's anything about a project I forget to say, I'll just add it somewhere on the screen. So, okay, Advent Animals by Brooks Books. This was started May 1st of 2020. It is on 18 count oatmeal. Also, there's one picture this plus, but otherwise it's all either old enough that I got the fabric from Michaels, or it's probably a Zweigart, maybe a Witchell, but okay. All right. Advent Animals by Brooks Books started May 1st, 2020. Most of this was completed in May of 2020, the first 20 blocks, and then that tiny bit at the end. And so what I did this year was just adding the border for those 2 squares. So not a lot, but it is still a WIP. I haven't abandoned it. Haven't worked on it a lot, but it's still, I did something on it this year, so I have something to show. So I'll show a little bit closer up. So that is what I have. If I had started it today, I probably wouldn't have put it on oatmeal because there's little like snowflake bits in each one that are hard to see as white stitching on the oatmeal. It's a little bit easier in person, but it's fine. It's still cute. So there's that one. So it's not my oldest WIP, but it's the oldest of what I'm going to show today. All right. Next is skipping that one. Next is from 2022. This is, oh, you know what? I need something to put behind these. This will work. This might work. Okay. This is from 2022, Christmas Tree Lights by Julia Studio Design. This was started on July 28th of 2022. I have a picture here of what it looked like at the beginning of the year. For most of the ones from like 22 and 23 that were WIPs then, I have a picture of most of those of what they looked like. This is where we are now. So from here up is now completely filled in. This is on 18 count black. And I love this one. I think it's very nice. Okay. Next, let me try and keep these in a bit of sense. Okay. Those separate WIPs from finishes. Okay. Also, these are in chronological order from start date, intermixing finishes and WIPs just as from the date I started them. Next one is also from 2022. This is my 2023 temperature piece. So this one is a little bit see-through. So this is a finish now. This is Temperature Supernova. This is by Climbing Goat Designs. Again, sorry, here's what it looks like at the beginning of the year of 2024. So it started December 8th of 22 and finished March 10th of this year. And I was able to start before 2023 because the like white parts in between each week, so each like spoke is a week. So I was able to start early and then finished a little late, but not too bad. Finished March 10th for my 2023 temperature pattern. Okay, so that's finished, so that goes over here. Okay, and then I think we're into 2023. Yes, okay. So, first one from 2023 is a WIP. It is Starry Night by Elliton Embroidery. This is what it looked like at the beginning of 2024. Let me scoot over maybe. And then this is what it looks like now. So I'm really pleased that I'm continuing to make progress on this. It's obviously very beautiful. I love Elliton Embroidery, especially their full coverage. They have several like famous paintings that they have converted to cross stitch, and they're just fantastic. So this is Starry Night. This was started February 8th, 2023 on 18 count white. So I'm excited to see this come along. I don't know if I'll finish it this year. I mean, it'd be really cool if I did, but there is quite a bit left, but it's so pretty. Okay. Next is, this was a gift, but it's been finished, so I can show you a photo of it. This is Prague by Lifted Spirit Patterns. I stitched this for my mom. I started it on her birthday in 2023, finished it February 3rd, 2024. It's stitched on 16 count white. She's Czech, so, and has always wanted to visit Prague, so I made this one for her. All right, the next one. So, okay, this is Blue Dot by Taylor and Cromwell. It looks like this. This is one I have restarted and will have to restart again. So originally started on April 22nd, 2023, restarted this one I'm going to show you now on November 12th, 2023. And I am a center starter. And that must be for a reason, because this is not the first time this has happened to me. So the first time I started this, it was on a 14 count, because like you can see from the picture, it's all words. It's a Carl Sagan quote about viewing the earth from space. And I wanted to do it in 14 count because I wanted, the words to be big enough to clearly read. Well, the fabric, it was like a Aida fabric from Michaels that just was not good. So I was like, let's restart it on a better like 18 count, because like it'll be big enough on 18 count to see I'll do a better like 18 count fabric. And so I started again, and I am an in-hand stitcher. So I started, one more thing. When I started it the first time, I started in the middle, because I said I'm a center starter. But because it's basically all back stitching, you're just putting in words. Starting from the middle, I wasn't doing like word by word by word, so it was just basically lines, just shapes, and it didn't mean anything. I didn't like it. So I was like, I'm gonna start center at the top, start top of the quote, work my way down. And so I did that, and so I'm holding like the fabric, like I've got it like rolled up for the center, okay? And so I started, and it's going well, and I'm enjoying it pretty much. And then, how did this happen? This is not the first time that this has happened to me. When I try a long piece, I have it in the center, so I have it rolled, and then somehow I get farther than I should before realizing that this is not centered. Like, it's gonna keep going. It's not gonna, what, how did I do this? How did I get this far? So I need to start it again. And I don't know when that's gonna happen. I think it might still, so it's still on my WIP list, but it's a little bit embarrassing. But at least I know to do it on 18 count. I don't know. Okay, moving on. Let's move on. All right, next up is a finish. This is, so 2023, yes, 2023, right? Yes, 2023 was my year of ornaments. So I've got a few that are kind of carryovers from that year. So this one is, I don't know which side is up, but I don't think it matters. This is Snowflake number 1. This is from Nara X Stitch Patterns. Oh, this is what it looks like at the beginning of the year. Here's where it is now. It's finished. So this is on 18 count. It's Royal / Christmas Blue. So I guess it goes by both. Started April 25th, 2023, finished March 9th, 2024. I noticed that like the end bits are different, but it's a snowflake. I'm assuming I didn't do it wrong. I'm assuming it's supposed to be like that. But snowflake number 1. This pattern comes with, I think, 6 snowflakes. So most of my patterns are digital patterns that I get from Etsy most of the time. Sometimes, if I can, I'll buy directly from the designer, but I think that was all for that one. So next is Samhain by the Elven Forest. I've got just the Yule one left to do in this series, so I'm very excited to have this series finished. Once I finish that, that'll be 8 in total. So this one says, the veil between the worlds grows thin as the days grow short and winter begins. This is on 18 count oatmeal. Started May 1st, 2023 and finished March 11th, 2024. Samhain by the Elven Forest. I might have changed some of the colors. I usually change a few bits and pieces on each of these. That is Samhain. Okay, that goes with finishes. Oh, that goes with finishes too. Okay. All right, next one is a WIP. This is Australia. Oh, this is where it was at the beginning of the year. This is Australia Map by Janice Pattern. And this is where I am now. So I've got all of this filled in for this year. So this one is on an 18 count light blue. Started June 15th, 2023. This is what it's going to look like completed. And again, this is where I'm at. Okay. I'm not used to announcing like this is what it used to look like because I don't usually put in those pictures, but maybe we'll get better as we go. So, okay, next one is a Halloween ornament finish. This is Halloween Silhouettes Scarecrow by Doreen Jones. This is on 18 count oatmeal. That's what it looked like. That's what it looks like now. Let's see. Started August 14th, 2023, finished January 27th, 2024. And there's, I think, 4 different ones in this series. Very nice. Okay, finish. Goes there. Next one, we are back to a WIP. This is what it looked like at the beginning of the year. And this is what it looks like now. This is Healer Family by The Girl with a Bow. This was started on Halloween 2023. This is on 20 count white, stitched with 1 thread. And this is in the approaching a finish list. I don't know if I've had, no, I think this is the first one on one of those near finish lists. So this is on the, with not too much work, it'll be very close to a finish. Okay. Next is a finish. This is September Harvest Moon. I'm gonna get it eventually. This is what it looks like at the beginning of the year. This is what it looks like finished. This is on 16 count pewter. This is designed by the Little Stitcher. Started November 26th, 2023, finished January 28th, 2024. And this, I really love this series. It's the 13 Moons series. So I have January to September now finished. So I've got just 3 more. Yes, 3 more. Because there was also a 13th one for the blue moon, but I've stitched that one. So I've got October, November, December left to do. So hopefully I get to that in 2025 because these are really great. I've got it's up there, but I've got a, like a 3x3 frame that I theoretically switched them out in. So, okay, there's that one. Next, last one from 2023. This is a finish. This is Miss January. This is what it looks like. I'm getting maybe better. Okay, this is Miss January by from the Calendar Girls series by Sugar Stitches. This is on, I don't have it written down, but this is 18 count dirty. Started December 28th, 2023 and finished March 9th, 2024. So I also have the November one done, and I think if I do one this year, I think it's going to be June. I really like the June one, so I'm just going to be kind of hopping all over for this series, but I may eventually do all of them. So this is January. Okay, now we are on the starts from 2024. Okay, so hopefully this is a little easier for me since there aren't previous photos since they're started this year. All right, this is a finish. This is the All Hallows Eve sampler by Joan Elliott, stitched on 18 count vintage country mocha. I am quite sure this is the first Joan Elliott design I've stitched. All of the black is actually with black etoile. Not sure if you can tell. And then the yellow is the regular, like as charted yellow. But I thought it'd be fun to add a little sparkle, so the black is all black etoile. Let's see, started November 1st, sorry, November, where'd that come from? Started January 1st and finished August 3rd. And also, if you're familiar with what the pattern looks like, there's letters in there. I didn't want to stitch the alphabet, so I just took those out and it worked just fine. The only difference is that, like with the border, there's 2 spaces between each one, and at the bottom, there's just 1. But you honestly probably couldn't tell. So that is that one. So lovely. All right. Next is the first of several Palestine patterns for 2024. This is Ceasefire Now by, it's kind of hard to, there we go. Ceasefire Now by Tatreez with Tam. This is stitched on 18 count light blue, started January 14th and finished January 15th. I kind of wished I would have used a different color for the words because they would have been easier to see, but it's still good. Okay. Next, we have South Africa by Tatreez with Danduna. Stitched on 18 count white, started January 14th and finished January 19th. And this is in honor / commemoration of South Africa bringing a case of genocide against Israel in the ICJ, the International Court of Justice. So it is the flag of South Africa stitched in Tatreez motifs. I think it's so beautiful and such a lovely memento, such a lovely like thing to do, to design to honor what South Africa did there, and is still doing, by the way. It's a very long process. So okay, next is my 2024 temperature chart. This is in the near a finish list since we're almost at the end of the year, and I stayed up pretty well with it. Well, it's easy to catch up on. So this is Temperature Flying Geese by, let me see. Oh, next page, hold on. Temperature Flying Geese by Stitched Modern. And it's so simple, which is why I'm going to do this same design again for 2025 temperature stitching. It's like, you just have to reference the pattern so you know how many to go over for the first row, and then you don't even really need the pattern. Just you have to reference just how to do the month letters. But I'm absolutely doing this one again. So this is through most of November for 2024. A warm one, let's say. But yeah. So I'm going to be doing this pattern again for 2025. Okay. Did I say everything? Oh, no, I didn't. So it's on 14 count white. Started January 15th, restarted February 2nd. So this is the February 2nd one. The one that I originally started was again on like a Michael's Ada that was just not working for me at all. I used to stitch on like on Michael's fabric. I feel like it's not as good. I feel like it's not as good as it used to be, but maybe my tastes have changed, but I feel like it's not as good. Anyway, this is where we are now. Okay. So this is close to a finish. All right. Next is Greetings from Beyond by Night Spirit Studio. This is on 18 count curry. Started January 15th. And what's interesting, this is also obviously close to a finish. The candles I stitched first with 2 threads, but it was feeling kind of bulky. So I did 1 thread. I started doing 1 thread for the rest. And then I was like, that actually works fantastically given the pattern. The kind of spooky, misty part is in 1 thread. And then the candles are in 2. And it just works so darn well. So I'm really excited about this one. And it's my first Night Spirit Studio pattern. So, all right, that I think is everything for that one. So that goes here. All right, next one is a finish. This is my first Quirky Quaker pattern. I think I have one more in stash, but this is the first one I've done. This is Quirky Quaker Watermelon by Darling and Whimsy Design. There is some white in there that's kind of getting washed out. This is on 14 count aqua. Started January 24th, finished January 25th. Another piece for Palestine. There's a few more for this year. And then here's another one. So this is also a finish. This is Free Watermelon by Last Spoon Saloon. Stitched on 18 count white with 1 thread. So I think this is the first one on 18 count that I did the whole thing with 1 thread. So sometimes I was playing this year with like when I do 2 threads, when I do 1, because I was always a 2 thread stitcher. And mostly I still am, but I like kind of now playing with that a little bit. So this is 1 thread. Started January 26th, finished March 10th. Free Watermelon. Okay, that goes in this pile. Oh, that goes over here too. I'll have to double check these piles at the end. All right, we're still doing good. So next is, got another finish. This is in the mini monthly series by Stitching Cabin. This is mini monthly March. Last year I did January and February, and so this year I have March, April, May, June to show you. So this is March, and I love these because they're quick. You can get it done in a day or 2, and it's a lovely like monthly for the year that again you can theoretically swap out for the months. So this is stitched on 16 count pewter. Started January 29th, finished February 3rd. Mini monthly March. That goes over here. And then another finish. This is Dome of the Rock by Tatreez Traditions. And if you are not familiar with, so Tatreez is, put very simply, Palestinian cross stitch. And Tatreez Traditions is a truly incredible resource. So I will link their Instagram in the description. They have, if you're new to stitching, they have how to stitch. They have what is Tatreez. They have a free Tatreez motif library. They have free patterns. This is one of them. It's excellent. So check them out. This one is stitched on 16 count white. Started January 31st and finished March 9th. So that is Dome of the Rock by Tatreez Traditions. All right, another finish. This one is Palestine Flag, also by Tatreez Traditions. Stitched on 14 count white, started February 8th and finished March 9th. They're so pretty. I love all the different motifs in them. Very pretty. Okay, there is that one. And then got a row of finishes here. So this one was started, excuse me. Oh, okay. This one was started for the Year of the Dragon sale. So it was started on February 10th for Lunar New Year. Here it is. This is Dragon by Happy Mood Point. Started February 10th, finished March 11th. This is on 16 count white, and this is one where I used DMC variations. This is number 4205. And I love it. I think it looks so cool. So I think 2025 is the year of the snake. So I've been looking on Etsy for different snake patterns. Probably do one of those. I don't love snakes, but I'll find a cool looking one I could stitch. There is Dragon. I think I said everything for this one. Yes, okay. It goes with finishes. And then another sale. This was part of the Superb Owls sale, started on the Super Bowl Sunday. This one is Owl by Sam X Stitch. This is stitched on 14 count white. The DMC variations in the green around it is number 4047. And this one was started February 11th and finished November 1st. And as charted, it has like probably 4 or 5 different shades of green, but I went with the DMC variations instead. So that is Owl by Sam X Stitch. Okay. All right, next one is a WIP. This one, however, well, next one is a gift, so I'm not showing that. The next one I'm showing is, so I got the pattern on Etsy, but then realized that I couldn't be sure whether the person I bought it from either designed it themselves or properly licensed the artwork. So I'm not going to say which store I got it from. Because, it's a dollhouse pattern. But then I noticed there were others, like essentially the same picture, but charted slightly differently. So I'm like, well, where is this actually from? I don't know. So this is what I have so far. I'm doing it room by room. It is on 20 count with 1 thread. And I really enjoy it. I just wish I knew, who the original artist was. So that is this one. This one, what are the dates for this one? Started February 29th. So pretty good. Pretty good progress. I'll show up close because there's some great detail in these. It's pretty fun. Okay. Next is got another Palestine piece. This is Watermelon by Trisha X Stitch. I'm blocking myself, but that's okay. Let's see. Stitched on 14 count white. Started March 7th and finished March 9th. And also, if you're wondering about why watermelons keep showing up in like Palestine pieces, the colors in the watermelon are the same colors in the Palestine flag. So that's why. All right. Next, turn the page. All right, next is from the mini monthly series. This is April. And as you can see, when I said, you can theoretically switch them out, well, April is in the frame. So staying up to date with that. But isn't this such a cute frame for this? I think it's absolutely perfect. So this is Mini Monthly April by Stitching Cabin. Started March 8th and finished March 8th, so all in one day, on 16 count pewter. Mini Monthly April. And then I worked on 4 Ramadan pieces this year. I am not Muslim, but I wanted to do something to honor the faith of many people in Palestine. Obviously, they're not all Muslim, but many are. And I am not a religious person, but I found the strength of their faith to be inspiring. So I decided to stitch some Ramadan pieces, learn a little bit about Ramadan. So that was pretty fun. This is Ramadan Mubarak from Stitchora Cross Stitch. This is part of the Blessed Eid series. There are 6 in this series. They're all the same size. I started 2 of them this year. So 1 I finished, 1 is still a WIP. This one, so it's stitched on 16 count white, started March 10th and finished March 22nd. And just look at all the back stitch in the moon. It's just I'm not saying that like my back stitch is lovely, that the design is lovely. My back stitch is okay. So Ramadan Mubarak. And then we have Ramadan Lantern by Tatreez Traditions. Stitched on 14 count white, started March 17th, finished March 23rd. See some of the detail in there. And again, by Tatreez Traditions. Do check them out. And then we have this cool one using another DMC Variations. This is Fat is Not a Bad Word by Abby X Stitch. This is on 18 count navy using DMC Variations 4022. And I could not be more in love with this thread. It looks so good. I'm so excited. This one was started March 18th and finished March 29th. And I love it so much. So I'm so excited to find other uses for this thread because can you say gorgeous? Yes. All right. Next one is, okay. Next one is a Ramadan WIP. This is from the same series, the Blessed Eid series by Stitchora Cross Stitch. This is Happy Eid. Eid, from what I understand, essentially means holiday, so it's like saying happy holiday. This is what it will look like, and this is what I have. So this one there's a finish in sight. It's not quite close to a finish yet, but it's getting there. This is stitched on 16 count white, started March 24th. And I love that I got the back stitch started for all of this part here. This is Happy Eid. All right, then. Next, okay, this one, I don't know if it'll make sense to or mean anything to anyone else, but so it's something that I charted for myself. The font I got from, where is it? Stitch Menagerie. So a little explanation. So the quote, well, I'll show you. The quote here is from a comment on an Instagram post, okay? And the comment is from, what's the best way to, okay. The comment is from the actress Lily Coles. And she was commenting on a post by the creator of the show Roswell, New Mexico, which is a reboot of the original Roswell from 1999. And Lily was in the show. She played one of the aliens. And I don't remember what the original post was about, but the quote that I knew I had to stitch and like stitched that very same day is in reference to a Counting Crows song called Mrs. Potter's Lullaby. And the lyric that the quote is referencing is, if dreams are like movies, then memories are films about ghosts. And so, referencing a show about aliens, what I charted was, if dreams are like TV, then memories are films about aliens. Personal to me, I love it. And like, so stitched on an 18 count black, okay. Stitched on 18 count black, stitched on March 29th, start and finish. And with the font I got, like, it fits exactly in my 5x7 frame. So I've got this on my bookcase. If dreams are like TV, then memories are films about aliens. Lily Coles. Okay. Moving on. So we have, what is next? Okay. This one is a fun one. This is by D's 20 Stitches. This one is close to a finish, so I won't need to, well, I will show you what it looks like done. So you can see the part that I haven't done yet is filling in the person at the bottom. So D designed this as part of a fundraiser for his top surgery, which 6 months out now and everything's going great. So I'm very excited for him. I love stitching this, even though this is not my usual, like if there was something very similar to this, but it wasn't like this on the theme it is, I probably wouldn't stitch it. But I really like stitching this. It's got just the 5 colors. Also, as you saw, it was charted for a dark background. I obviously went white. So I did have to invert some of the black and white here, and then a little bit for how the eye is done. But I really enjoyed it, and I've got the person to fill in at the bottom. So this is close to a finish in my close to a finish list. Let's see, what did I not say about this? Checking my notes. It's on 16 count white, started March 31st by D's 20 Stitches. Oh, it's called Know Thyself. I don't think I said that. Know Thyself, which is what I think the Latin phrase at the top means. So I'll show it close up. There you go. All right. Next is my last Ramadan one for the year. This is a finish. This is Ramadan Moon, again by Tatreez Traditions. Started March 31st, finished July 27th, stitched on 16 count white. That is that one. Okay, next one I gifted this year, so I have a picture of it to show you. This is Vancouver by Awesome Pattern Studio. This was started April 2nd and finished Christmas Eve, so just in time. This is a 16 count white, if I didn't say that. So this is Vancouver. I stitched for my sister. So each year she goes on a birthday trip to a different international location. This year it was Vancouver, so I stitched Vancouver for her. In the past, I've stitched Seoul, South Korea, and Tokyo, Japan. So I'm excited to see which one is next. I think she knows where she's gonna go, but I don't want to start it until she's got like her flight booked or something like that. Okay, so next we are close-ish to being done. Okay, next is my one piece on Picture This Plus fabric. It is 16 count Whimsy. This is Brew Crew. Hold on. This one I actually have a physical pattern for. This is actually my very first ever market start. So it's my 2024 was my first time ordering a new release from Market. I ordered from Top Knot Stitcher. Highly recommend. I'm gonna shop with her again for Market for 2025. I got, I think, 3 patterns, and this is the first one I started. Brew Crew by Counting Puddles. And so it's actually not the called for fabric, but it is very close, and I really love it. Although I will say, so this is what I have so far. 2 things. One, so I'm doing 2 stitches for most of it, but the mist coming out of the cauldron, I'm doing in 1 stitch, which It's hard to see in this lighting, but you can kind of see it there. It does, you can see it more in person. But I do think that I love playing now with like one stitch or two to give a certain effect to a project, and the one stitch for the mist is really working for me. The other thing I'll say about this piece is that because I am an in-hand stitcher, like I do not use hoops, I do not use Q-snaps, I just hold it. Picture This Plus is super floppy, which a lot of people like, and I'm not saying I don't like. I do like it. I don't regret this fabric at all. But it's harder when you're stitching in hand. So if you're considering, oh, maybe I want to try, it's just something to keep in mind. It's just like partly it's nice, but partly you just, I don't know. It's a little bit harder, but it's also worth it because it's gorgeous. So Brew Crew by Counting Puddles. Okay. Next is, where are we in the list? Okay. All right, next one is a bit of a heavy one. This one is Whoever Stays by Crafty Yams. This is what it will look like. I've got most of the words done, but you can see the border. This is where we are now. It says, whoever stays until the end will tell the story. We did what we could. Remember us. It is based on a photo from the I have it written here, El Ada Hospital in Gaza. It is based on this photo that later became this photo. Obviously, with the pieces I've stitched this year, you know where I stand on that. This is, I love stitching the watermelon pieces. This is a heavy one, but meaningful, powerful. So we did what we could. Remember us. This is stitched on 20 count white. I'm using one thread. I am a little bit worried of how this is gonna fit. I'm gonna have to work with it a little bit because it's charted to have the words be stitched over one and the border be stitched over two. I'm not doing that, so I'm may have to finagle it a little bit to get everything to, line up, match up, be centered, but I will work through that. So this one was started April 7th. Okay. Next. All right, next we have one that is very close to a finish. This is Trans Butterfly. So these center, like this is stitched in white, but then like these two and these two have to be filled in, and that's it. So it is very close to finish. Let's see, who's this by? This is by Creatology by Kara. This is stitched on 18 count white. Started April 9th. The black is stitched with 2 threads, and the colors are stitched with 1 thread. And I think that really adds to like the delicacy of the wings to have them be 1 thread. So this is a gift, but I'm showing it. This is for a coworker who came out as trans in 2024. And the whole team was just absolutely proud and supportive. And so I mean, it's been a while. I should, probably should have finished it, but she will be receiving this as soon as it is done. Okay, next is I'm doing temperature flying geese again, but this is not the 2025. This is temperature flying geese 1986. I wanted to have a temperature chart from the year I was born to compare, current and ongoing temperature charts to. So obviously I didn't get very far. I'm just probably like halfway through February, but this is the temperature chart based on the year I was born. So again, this is by Stitched Modern, started April 13th on 14 count white. So especially since my 24 and 25 will both be this pattern, plus I can compare it. And I'm doing it on the same color and size fabric too. So I'll tell you, I'm gonna be interested to see what the differences might be in that amount of time. So there we go. All right, turn the page. We're on the last page now. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more, 6. I have 6 WIPs. One of them is a gift, so we're skipping that one. All right, next 2 are from the mini monthly series. This one is mini monthly May from Stitching Cabin on 16 count pewter. Started April 18th, finished April 19th. That is May. And then we have June, mini monthly June, also on 16 count pewter. Some of the like steam and light blue doesn't, you can see it there. All right, mini monthly June by Stitching Cabin, 16 count pewter, started May 14th and finished May 24th. So I've got now January through June of these done. So hopefully we'll get, more of those done for 25. And next we have this one. This was my Pride Month start for 2024. This is First Pride by Taylor and Cromwell. This is what it will look like. And this is what I have. This one I'm considering close to a finish. This is on 18 count black, started June 2nd. And I think really the colors look great. It looks really good. You can't see as much on camera, like the different, you can kind of see it there. Different colors in the D. But looks so good. I'm excited about it. So, okay, next one, second to last. The last Palestine start for 2024 is Palestine Valentine by the Halima Project. This one is also close to a finish, as you can see. This is on 16 count white, started July 27th. Almost done with this one. And my last start of 2024. And you say, well, that one was just July. You only have one more? Yeah. I'll talk about that in a second. This one started August 30th. This is ACAB AC/DC by Screaming Heart Design, stitched on 14 count black, started August 30th. So I've got, probably can't see it, but I have the black, also filled in for these, and then so it's just the red fill in. So this is also considered close to a finish. That looks really good. Okay, so those were all the projects. I think I said everything for those. So my last start was back in August, and it's now January 1st. What? So I have known for the past couple of years, this has been the case. I know that I stitch significantly less in the summer going into fall. Like it lingers into the fall. And so I found myself, in the fall with, a good amount of WIPs and so busy, not stitching nearly as much. I didn't want to start something when I probably had the same, because I currently have 23 WIPs. I finished maybe 2 or 3 in the second half of the year, so I probably had a little more than that. Anyway, I wasn't in a position where I felt comfortable starting something. So I didn't. And it just kind of piled up. And obviously there were several, so I have 7 that are close to a finish. Now, could I have finished several of those? Yeah. But what I want to do, why I was saving them, is that I want to do, which I did in 2024, I want to do it again this year, is how many projects can I finish in 24 hours of stitching? So I wanted to have a good number that I could work through, that in making a reel or a TikTok or something of just 24 hours of stitching, how many could I finish? When I did it last year, I finished 8. So I've got 7 on my list now, plus 4 that are approaching a finish. So I was purposely saving them for that. So I'm going to do that. So that's, I guess, part of my 2025 plans. So here's my idea for approaching stitching in 2025. So I currently have 23 WIPs, which is high for me, but I also, like I have just been talking about, almost half of those are going to be done soon. So I figure in January I finish a whole clump of them, you know. So then I figure I'm going to feel comfortable starting a few things. And I figure that as long as I go into June having, like, as long as I also finish, as long as I either don't start too much or finish as I go, as long as I go into June with a, for me, relatively low number of WIPs, I feel like I could probably sustain continuing to start things here and there in the second half of the year, so that I don't have, again, where I haven't started anything in 4 months, which again is not really a problem, but if I had, you know, ideally, I like to space things out. Now that's hard to do knowing that I'm not going to be stitching as much in the summer/fall. So it's a little bit hard to plan for, but you know, you prioritize certain things. I have other, like, I like to read, and like half of what I read is audiobooks, but half is physical books. You can't read a physical book and stitch at the same time. You can do it for audiobooks, but I value reading the physical book, so I'm going to split my time. There's other things I like to do, so you're gonna split your time. I like to crochet. You can crochet and listen to an audiobook, but you can't crochet and stitch at the same time. You just can't do it. So you gotta, you know, mix things up. So I think as long as I go into the summer, not with a huge pile of WIPs, and then kind of as I go, do bit by bit here and there, I think I can, while I will still have more stitching in the winter and spring, it's not gonna, I don't think, drop off as much. I mean, you know, we'll see. That's the plan. That's the plan for 2025. It's obviously a loose plan. It's what I endeavor to do. We'll see how it goes. I was also looking through, because I have a list of all the patterns I have in stash, and then I have like everything I have favorited on Etsy. And so I was looking through both of those and being like, what do I think I really want to start for 2025? So I might do a separate video of, like, not necessarily planned starts, but like intentions to start in 2025, because I also keep track of how much money I spend on my cross stitch. I have for the past 2 years, so I have the total in my head. Well, it's written in my notebook. I don't remember it, but so, because I've made also videos of like how much money did I spend on cross stitch in, you know, whatever year. So I do like talking about that, so I probably will make that video, something like that. I may, you know what, I may go through my stash, because I feel like sometimes when we have a lot of things in stash, you kind of forget it, or you're like, you know, you see something new, it's like, well, you had something just as good in stash that you could have started. You know, you have a fabric that you like just as much as the new one, but because it's not new, you know. So maybe I'll do like a stash dive / intended plans / how much money did I spend on cross stitch in 2024. So that sounds pretty fun, actually. Maybe I will do that. All right, so whether you see me there or until, you know, the 2025 WIP Parade or any of the other videos I may happen to make for this channel in between now and then, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Happy stitching.